Jade Shadows has brought along a lot of changes, one of them being to blast the damage, and with that our birdie has gotten an indirect buff. With this little change we are gonna be able to nuke, crowd control, and just basically make the game much easier. So without any delays, let's get into it. So, as I mentioned, with the Jade Shadows update, a lot of changes, and one of them being Blast. And now, what exactly happened? First of all, when you apply Blast onto an enemy, it will do small little damage AoEs, and if you stack it up to 10 times, which is what we want to do, it's gonna do a big AoE summing up all the damage in a 5-meter radius. Now, that is going to be very nice, but we need to cover the abilities first before going into the weapons of the Warframe. Now, her passive allows her to maneuver in the air much faster and fall down much slower. While she is still airborne, she does give another 150% critical chance bonus that additively stacks to your critical chance mods. So that's very nice. You want to be flying up as much as you possibly can. Tailwind is her first ability. This allows you to basically float up into the air. If you aim down, you do a dive bomb, and if you just aim anywhere and tap the ability, you will do a dash, which does slash damage. So that's pretty cool, but we're gonna change this out for Roar. Roar is a much better ability, first of all increasing the damage of your abilities and also your weapons, which is very nice, and it is gonna be much more potent with our build today. Airburst is her second ability. This basically, you throw it onto the ground, it's gonna drag enemies in and does more damage the more enemies are in there. This is very good because this is what's gonna drag enemies into your fourth ability. Turbulence is her third ability. This basically dodges all incoming projectiles, or surrounds her with wind that makes her dodge all incoming projectiles, but the butchers with their little cleavers can still kill you, so always watch your back. And then we have Tornadoes. Tornadoes is her fourth ability. You summon 3 of them. They do the 3 IPS damage types, or I guess impact, puncture, and slash, and it also adapts to the damage that you're dishing into it. So the element that you put in the most, and I guess put into the tornadoes, it is gonna do that damage. You do also gain a critical damage multiplier from this, so this is very nice. Now that we covered all of that, we want something that applies a lot of blast. I have been testing out a few weapons, and 2 weapons seem to shine the brightest: the Torrid Incarnate and the Prisma Angstrom Incarnate. The Prisma Angstrom Incarnate being probably a little bit better, and you will be able to see that probably around now where I'm switching up the gameplay for you guys. Now, let's actually show you the builds. The Torrid build, we have Galvanized Chamber, Prime Cryo Rounds, Hellfire, Malignant Force, Rifle Elementalist, Vital Sense, Critical Delay, Hunted Munitions, Vigilante Supplies, and then Arcane Merciless. You can change out Rifle Elementalist for High Voltage to put in Corrosive, but honestly I wouldn't prefer it. The Toxin is going to be pretty good against enemies that have shields. In case of course Corrupted, there are a couple of enemies, so we would really like that, but Corrosive is always an option. You have been maybe seeing the evolutions up on screen, but we're gonna be moving on to the Prisma Angstrom right now. This weapon I personally think is even better. We have Creeping Bullseye, Prime Target Cracker, Lethal Torrent, Pistol Elementalist, Pistol Pestilence, Deep Freeze, Primed Heated Charge, Galvanized Diffusion, Steady Hands, and then secondary Merciless. Now, with this build, you are able to dish out much more damage, especially with Acolytes, and these are the evolutions, by the way, just so you can check them out. But with this, I have noticed that you do a lot, and I do mean a lot more damage. The more enemies there are, the better, of course, and this weapon has a special feature where the bullets basically bounce around. The special feature of the Torrid is where it basically chains to other enemies, so you can technically chain blast without honestly doing anything. You can tag a couple of enemies, apply enough blast, and at early game levels you're not going to be able to apply blast that easily, at least 10 stacks, because you kill them so fast. But of course you want to find out how do you kill them that fast. Well, of course it is the Warframe, and the Zephyr build has Brief Respite, Prime Continuity, Umbral Intensify, we have Transient Fortitude, Overextended, Narrow-Minded, Stretch, Jetstream, Augur Reach. We of course have Arcane Energize and then Arcane Velocity alongside Cunning Drift. Now, with this build, you do not need a lot of power strength. The most of your damage is coming from, of course, Roar and your weapons. You want as much range as possible to drag as many enemies in. Now, Eximus units with their Overguard cannot be dragged in. Just remove the Overguard and they're gonna go inside and pretty much be dead. Now, Arcane Energize is pretty much a must. I found out that a lot of the times I'm running out of energy, I'm able to to basically just save myself on that. You can use different methods, like for example you can use Archon shards, or you can use for example some other mods that change that out and maybe, you know, switch it out for another ability, or sorry, another arcane. But of course, whilst we are talking about the Warframe, we do have the Archon shards, and surprisingly enough, we only have two. We have one for 75 max energy and then one for 25% casting speed. If you possibly can't put in two, I honestly don't have one, and didn't really find the use for another one. At least in this situation, I didn't have a trouble dying with this Warframe, mostly because I just keep up my turbulence and everything basically dies with the Prismatic Angstrom, so it's not really that big of an issue. So that's basically it. For the pet of choice, I actually use anything. You can use the Panzer Profiler, you can use the Worm Prime, you can use Helios. It really all depends on you. Focus Gold, same way. You honestly do not need those things with this Warframe. You can pretty much just ruin everybody's day just by summoning 3 tornadoes and aiming your weapon at them, and that's basically it, what it comes down to. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, do leave a like, comment down below on what you think of the build. What do you guys think? Is it cool? Is it nice? Do you like it? Do you not? And what do you think of the blast changes? And do subscribe for more. I will be, of course, always uploading for you guys and your enjoyment. Spin the Gaming Weasel, over and out.